And when it comes to being outside, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it every time. I'm gonna do it every time. You know, we're out here crafting as one does. Get outside and get creative. This thing is draining your energy. Don't be on here too long, babes. Chip and dip, chip and dip. Come to listen, then dip and go outside. Okay? You have to be very wary of your media consumption. Like, they constantly teach us to focus on how much, and it's an illusion because it's a distraction from, and it's a capitalist opportunity as well. We'll get into that, but it's an illusion in that I need to stop sidechecking when I'm on a roll. This has happened before, and like it happens so many times. I think I'm like preparing to over-explain myself. Like I already see where my concept, my story, my thoughts for the day are going, or my next thought is going, and then I like interrupt myself by trying to, apologize for my real thoughts, opinions. Like I don't know if I don't know. I've been dealing with the theme of authenticity a lot lately, and I think that is the current lesson. And like, I'm loving it because it's like a combination of everything I've learned on this process of healing, in this chapter of healing specifically. This chapter of my healing, rather. And I've been dealing with this theme of authenticity, and it's putting me in a state of reflection, but also like forward projection and like visualization, and establishing what my goals and desires are, my dreams and my interests and my passions. Basically, I'm merging back into being a human, and what I was here to do, which was to follow my interests, follow my heart, and pursue that and tap into that. Literally, whatever it is, if it's watching a snail travel from one side, from your left eye to your right eye the whole day, if that's your like thing, then bitch, you better go do that shit, because there is something there. This system like convinces us that we're wrong. You're inherently wrong. You're inherently wrong, and you need to be fixed. You're inherently wrong, and you need to be fixed. You need to be fixed financially. You need to be fixed aesthetically. You need to be fixed intellectually. You need to be fixed. You need to be fixed creatively. Everything is fixed. Everything is fixed. Everything is standardized. Everything is controlled, compartmentalized, and categorized. And society keeps showing time and time again, with every single human rights movement that has ever existed, or protest, or whatever, for whatever reason, they are evidence that we are so expansive and so diverse in our interests and our expressions, and that deviation from the standardization is labeled in the system as incompetence, as a negative thing. You're bad, you're inherently wrong, you're ill, you're wrong, and you need to be fixed. And if you don't get fixed, you have to feel bad. You have to feel the disgust and the shame we look at you with for being you. No, that's wrong. That's what the system has entrenched in all of us. And the fact for it to still keep going is because we're under spiritual attack, where this system is perpetuating itself through us, energetically. They literally are telling you that the voice in your head that recoils in disgust when you see an older man look at you as a young girl, as a teenage girl, as an infant, they're not even aware. As a toddler, they're not even aware. As a 7-year-old child, they're not even aware, bro. that voice, they tell you that voice of you, that part of you is wrong. And that's why these every sort of injustice and crime against humanity, on no matter how small it seems, touches people. It touches people because there's a collective understanding that that is wrong. Like, that shit is wrong, but they're gaslighting us, and it works for many people. Gaslighting, like, it works for so many people, but there are still those who are like refusing, like, no man, this is wrong, and they feel it on such a deep level. And that's when you have people who like end up taking their own lives because they're so overwhelmed by the tragedy in the world. Like, it's just everywhere you turn, there's misery. I feel like people who take their lives, they, especially teenagers around that age, like late tweens and teens, I feel like they do that, or a child comes to that decision to take their life at such a young age because no one around them is living in a positive frequency, in positive radiance, in just complete bliss. From the state of their family being completely dysfunctional and just already deeply traumatic for them, when they try and turn to their friends to, idolize their friends' lives and look at how their friends' parents, parent their kids and sort of live vicariously through the friend and hold on to hope in that sense, hold on to life through that friendship and through being able to see good representations of love. Even in those contexts, they didn't see that. They saw absolute misery. Everywhere they turned, whether it was channeling their perspective or their friends or somebody else who's close to them, it was nothing but misery, misery on misery on misery. And it felt so overwhelming to comprehend that at such a young age, that these kids take their lives. And we're seeing suicide rates get average suicide age rates across the globe. I'm not sure on the statistical number, but based on what you see on social media and whatnot, I have a general feeling of how much it is, and it's a lot. Anyways, imagine being so young and coming to such a dark and deep realization of how miserable the world is and how negative it is and how every system is created and integrated in such a way that it breaks you down. Like, it's kids who can't even, because there's always something that a child will try to hold on to before they end up taking their lives because the world around them is just too dysfunctional. They try so hard wherever they can to hold on to something, to have something to hold on to. But if they just don't see anything that is an example that they're meant to see, then that would actually bring them back into themselves and back into their bodies and see the hope and the beauty of life again. There was no such presence for them. And anyways, my main point that I was making was that we're seeing these ages get younger and younger, the average suicide age rate getting younger and younger, because the concentration of trauma is getting deeper and deeper with every new generation if humanity does not shift. This is actually the final stage. I've been so scared of saying that even to myself, but this is the final stage of it. This is the final stage of it. No more whatever have you. This is as low as the human spirit can handle being in a completely desolate, dysfunctional, chaotic world before it shuts down. If we don't start working on this shit now, and I'm gonna start my point, if we don't start working on this shit now, the spirit is gonna disconnect from humanity. We're going to become mindless drones and end up like dying out. We're going to end up dying out, and then that's going to give our souls a much harder time of trying to find a new planet with new like potential vessels to learn their lessons through. Now they have to do all that traveling and like travel through galaxies and galaxies, so you might as well be of service to your soul by doing the work now, so that when your soul reincarnates in the next lifetime, that person has an easier, a lighter load. It seems lighter, but it isn't, because they're healing. It becomes deeper. The more healing is done, the more healing a soul does, the more concentrated their traumatic event or trauma or like breakthrough, difficult period of life, the more concentrated it's going to be to challenge them even more, to stimulate them to grow through that. And that's how it like enlightens that and becomes strong, like a strong soul nearing enlightenment, if not reaching it. Because with each reincarnation the soul learns something, and it's I the way I visualize it is like it goes through the chakras. Like in my personal opinion, the chakras represent different ways energy has been stored in the physical vessel, and that would be the mind and the body. And like healing helps you travel through all those energy zones and like deal with whatever themes in your childhood, because everybody has childhood trauma. It helps you deal with whatever themes broke your connection to that chakra, like whatever themes took it to its state of dysfunction and put it out of balance. And so you heal, and that happens. That can take a lifetime to deal with just one chakra. It can take maybe like half a lifetime, allowing space for another chakra to be healed within the same lifetime. But yeah, I don't know. That's what I think. Oof. Oof. Sometimes I keep checking my screen to see if I don't get the storage full message, because girl, I've been having to delete. I actually have filmed like other stuff that I haven't posted, because I'm not sure if I'm going to. Around 13 minutes. I'm not gonna time myself, just gonna let it do its thing, period. But like, yeah, that's how I visualize the healing process, right? And basically, to summarize it properly, I think the root chakra deals with the most palpable instability that has been created, that the person is dealing with, and it's what brings their awareness back to the fact that there's a disturbance in their body and they're not okay, they're not balanced, and they need to address this now. That's like the base. It's like the last warning signal before danger, if no addressing of the dysfunction and imbalance and instability has been brought into that chakra zone or into the whole body. When it reaches the root, that means the whole body has been like put under a lot of pressure and healing needs to be done. And like, so the root will be the most palpable, that's the most tangible, like that's the first thing you're going to deal with, because there's like different phases, like there's different themes and central zones you heal with, and there are many synchronicities associated with that, from like the patterns of nature, the pattern of the weather synchronizing with the heaviness of the theme you might be dealing with that week or that day or that month. But that's when you become more trusting of yourself and your intuition and your feelings. And maybe this is just my experience. I don't know if this is true for everyone, because mine happened in like a linear process, but every chakral zone had so many different stories and memories that I had to like go back into and like witness how it really hurt me. And it was like back to back to back, going through like a lot of the chakra zones. So my healing process was like going through all of the hurt that was caused and associated with each chakra zone. So the root, my sense of security and the memories I associate with that, where I really felt like my sense of security was taken, where it was taken, and I didn't even realize it, because I was so young. And then going through like my mind and how so many ideas and beliefs were projected onto me, and like, through gaslighting, illusions and all of that, and realizing that no, those were false, and I actually always knew that, and that was my intuition, that was my feeling, but which is associated with my heart and my like neck, I feel like. But these people who are supposed to know better than me and be smarter than me and teach me things, they're projecting inverted beliefs, like they're projecting the opposite of what they're supposed to be teaching me, but expecting what they're supposed to be teaching me out of me. You know what I mean? Like, they expect empathy, they expect understanding. I'm not perfect. Are you perfect? I'm not perfect. I'm like, babes, I don't expect perfection. I'm literally holding you accountable, lovingly and respectfully making you aware of an action you did or a word you said that made me feel a certain way, made me feel down, made me feel negative, made me feel bad, sad, angry. I'm bringing that event to your awareness so you can see how I perceived that situation, so as to give you the opportunity to recognize my feelings, accommodate my feelings, and try to like make amends for the pain you caused onto my feelings, while also lovingly reminding me that that was not your intention, and showing me that that was not your intention by revealing your true self to me, just being authentic. That was my intention of bringing this thing to your awareness and saying this. Yet every time I keep saying things like this, you keep biting back and clapping back at me with intimidation, gaslighting, illusions, denying my experience. Denying my experience. Denying my experience even when there were witnesses there, and perpetuating your intimidation, your world of intimidation and fear, to such an extent that no one even had the courage to stand up for me because they were scared of your energy. But they experienced my truth. They know my truth. But you are enforcing this illusion onto everyone through your bad spirit and your evil energy. And those are the kinds of hurts that occur within households and within relationships, romantic relationships, as I've recently been learning. Like, I learned that, when people say like a relationship hurt them so bad, I used to not have much space and empathy and understanding for that side of emotional trauma through romantic relationships, because I was like, how can that happen if you're being yourself? Like this, how do you find yourself in that situation? Like, I understood it through like a close friend I once had, but like because like we were so close, and I felt like I understood her emotions, and I really had so much love and empathy for her, and still do. But beyond her, like, if it was not her, I couldn't understand it for other people, like, because I didn't have that personal relation to them, you know. I couldn't understand it conceptually, like, how can you be hurt romantically? Until I realized, like, one day last year, that the pain is still the same, because a person can still deal with a narcissistic partner in the same, and while the while the body delivering that pain is, you know, in the context of a romantic relationship, the energy that they're projecting onto you, that narcissistic energy of theirs that they're projecting onto you and trying to enforce you into their world of illusion, this world of illusion being their narcissism, that person, sorry, I lost it a bit. There's like a dog right in front of me.
Ja, ja, ja. Ze was niet heel gericht.
As I was saying, this person, this romantic partner, like in a romantic relationship, someone who's dealing with a narcissistic partner, they're trying to like pull them into their world of illusion, which is narcissism, as I said before. And so that's the same energy of illusion through narcissism that comes through in the dynamic between a child and their parent, the parent being the narcissistic one. Because it's like, but no, man, like, you're supposed to, like, there's so many energies associated with that narcissistic energy, or side effects of it, as being the receiver of narcissistic energy. It's like disappointment. The initial stage of an experience with a narcissist, it's like disappointment, because you're like, this person is like, because you're like, no, man, I'm pretty sure this happened. Like, I'm pretty sure this happened, and I'm pretty sure you clocked that this is how I saw what you did, or this is the truth of what you did, you know? Even though I can't explain it, I don't have the words as a young child to properly articulate myself against you, or in defense of myself, rather, as an advocate for myself. I don't have the words, but my intuition, my feeling is strong, because I'm bothered, my energy is bothered, and child energy is bothered because there are projections being thrown on them, and the body is trying to reject it. And anxieties and depressions start when the body starts to accept those projections. I feel like, yeah, I think I did the section.
Ja.
And I still feel a bit awkward, like, around with like people. Like, they feel fine if they're like far, but when they come into my space, I'm like, whoop, who are you? Who are you? Like, I like not running into a lot of people, to be honest. Like, love talking to the people. I love it. Girl, I love that shit. I love it. Give me more. Give me more. I love talking to people. But let's put a cap on how many per day. Because I'm a human being. I'm not meant to be around this many people at a time in a day. Like, my day is supposed to feel like the bulk of it is time spent with myself, observing, being outside, being with nature, being in my experience, and being grounded in the fact that, like, okay, I'm here on earth, purr, I can feel this wind on the back of my neck, purr, I'm not carrying any shame, purr, we shameless, we out here, our throats are up, we're using our voices, we're setting boundaries, period. And like just owning yourself and being authentic, you know, like that's what we're supposed to be doing here. That's what and so because now this narcissistic parent or this narcissistic partner aren't living how they're supposed to be living, they're rejecting themselves. They're trying to they're rejecting themselves, but now they have the consciousness and the capacity, because at some point they became aware again of the trauma that was done to them. They now have the consciousness to create a world, but because of their choice to turn away from themselves and continue to try and project this world of illusion, the further away they're putting themselves away from themselves, and the more destruction and chaos they're creating around them, and the more they're compounding their karma, and the worse it's gonna get. Like, it could be in the same lifetime, or precisely when they start the next one, precisely when they start the next lifetime, it's gonna be hard. And that's completely different. That's why you have like depressed babies, girl. And that's completely different from a soul that comes down to earth and has a hard life from the beginning, but because it's trying to improve itself, it's a soul that's advancing upwards. But that's a soul that's advancing downwards. It's becoming more powerful, but powerful in negativity. It's becoming more powerful in creating a negative world. And because now that's happening at younger ages, these kids are creating such negative worlds because they're reflecting to themselves what they already see outside. And it's just like darkness in their minds and darkness outside. And that's when they're like, I'm tapping out. And that's it's gonna get younger and younger. Don't you see? There are less and less kids and children. Like, yes, pregnancies are up. Love that for the girls, but there are less kids, like, who are stable at a young age. A lot of kids are born so vulnerable, so like spiritually, emotionally vulnerable, because their mothers were carrying just so much heavy energy while they were pregnant. And don't forget the generational trauma that's in the cells already. Oh, girl, there is so much, like, oh, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you get lost too much in the thought of how negative this world has become, like the depth of the negativity, you are going to drive yourself insane. You need to come outside. You need to connect with yourself, and you connect with yourself through the help of nature. Nature helps connect you back to you. Don't think when you see that story about that little girl who was raped, another one, and the pain that your heart felt on some level. Don't think just because you didn't register it on a conscious level that you didn't register it on a subconscious level. You did. That's information, babes. That's information. It doesn't matter how it comes, whether it's through sound waves or through